Welcome back to another episode of the Boy Network with me, Chima. And today we are going to be looking at an issue where, anytime it happens, the men are always involved. Anytime it happens, they start to castigate the men. We're going to be looking at the issue of violence. And with me, I have returning bros, Emmanuel and Victor. Guys, thank you for coming back. Oh. I know I don't disturb you now, but they always come through. I'm really grateful, man. Definitely. Thank you so much for doing this. So today we're talking about violence and why it should not be ascribed to only men, because they're always blaming us. Am I right?
Yeah, right.
All right, so first of all, let's start off. What constitutes violence normally? What will you see and say that this constitutes violence?
When you cause physical harm to someone, then I'd say it's violence.
Just when you cause physical harm?
Well, physical harm and when you cause physical harm to someone who is unable to defend themselves. Yes.
No, that decking be that. That one is you're
being violent.
That one is pure decking.
Well, for any form of physical harm, even if it's justified, I think it's violence.
Even if it's justified, it's violence. Yeah. Is it? Yeah. Any form of physical harm, even justified. You mash me, I mash you back. That's violence. Interesting. So, what exactly will now lead? What do you think can lead to people doing such, carrying out such actions? You get
violence. Well, let's take teenagers, children, for instance, infants, and the rest. Probably what they see while growing up, maybe domestic violence.
From home,
either side, mom or dad. Let's not just focus on men now. From the society, you understand, movies they watch, when you start watching things like Men in Black and stuff like that, they want to practice all these things, and, psychologically.
But low-key, children can be crackheads sometimes. Small thing, they cause them to fight.
Gen Z, yes. So many of these things, they contribute to what makes we human beings violent. Yes, but like you said, nothing really justifies anyone being violent. You get, there's no justification for any such. Okay,
so why do you think now that they always say men are the more violent? Why is it that we're always the ones at the center? Is it because we are too strong, or is it because we are too weak, or what exactly is the reason why men are always called when it comes to violence?
Okay, firstly, say men no plenty. Men no plenty.
We don't kill ourselves for war.
So when you are when these things happen, you understand, war. One street fights another street. The things we are used to hearing on the streets, you don't see women in such things. Highest women is probably domestic violence, probably hitting the
house girl or something, or hitting their men.
Yes, madam hits their apprentice, house girls, maids, all those things. You don't really hear women, indulging in such acts. It's usually men. Anywhere you go, it's basically men.
But why? My question now, my problem with it in general is the fact that this thing has become so entrenched in society that it feels like men are the only people who propagate violence.
Well,
you get?
Before you can be violent to someone, I believe that before I would say, okay, I want to walk up to this person, even if you have provoked me or not, and give the person a slap, I have to be sure that if I give you that slap,
touch me,
and you are going to return your slap back, I am fit and able to defend myself and even beat you. You understand? So now, most times, basically, I believe that everybody is
true. You cannot pick fights with who you cannot beat.
If you are maybe you are small. Imagine you drive for road now, and then soldier bash you. You can't say you don't vex. You won't go be soldier. You did crazy. I think you get my point. So now, the women are a weaker vessel physically.
Please, thank you. I like the fact that you decided to use that word before they go come for our show.
You know that our muscles are stronger, our bones are bigger, we are stronger than them. So if I'm going to slap a lady, Even if she wants to slap me back, she is not like this. I go beat her. You get no, I not go beat her. I would say that it's that mindset
that
men have that okay, if I slap my wife or whoever it is, she would not be able to beat me in a combat or whatever. So it is because everybody had violence in them. But now what will now hold you back is if I touch this person, it will beat me. If women were physically stronger than us, they would beat us. Everybody has violence. It's just because we are stronger, and then we believe that if I beat her, she won't beat me. You know what I mean? She fights me. If he fights cultists, so that's basically why it seems as though we are the ones
at the center of it. True.
We know they try because we know we are stronger than them. So we are meant to protect them. Use our strength to protect them. Basically, that is what we are meant to do as men. So now we fuck up for that side. You understand? So if we can just do better, because we are stronger, the odds are in our favor. We get so that's why I believe that men are always the ones,
always
perpetrators of violence. We get so.
And when it now comes to male on male violence, the fact that sometimes we look at ourselves like this guy not reach me now. This guy not reach me. I suppose clear and you get that kind of thing. So the need to want to feel like you are the alpha, you are the one on top. That sometimes it makes men want to go overboard. And before you know it, we have stuff like wars and all of that. And like you said, street violence, everything, people forming gangs, people forming cult groups and everything just because they want to dominate and show what they are not. You want to show power where you not get. Forget all power belongs to God. May we go drink water small. When we come back, we'll be going straight into another part of the show. Stay with us. Welcome back to the show. We've been talking about violence and why people believe that men are at the center. I don't want to say men are at the center because I'm not a violent person, Abi. Am I a violent person, Victor?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? All right, so I still have Emmanuel and Victor with me, and we've been sharing, we've been discussing, we've talked about a lot of stuff. Now let's look at violent tendencies in people. How can we spot them? How can we spot them to, be able to curb it early? Before a child grows up into a monster, how can we curb the violent tendencies that they have? How can we spot them, curb it?
Like I said earlier, human beings, we all have
violence
in us. So for some of us, we are not violent because of the upbringing we were given. Someone like me, by the way. Yeah, so, I would use what worked for me. You understand? When I was younger, I used to have a temper, a very bad one. I remember one time, my senior in school, I don't know if you will watch this, I don't want to call his name. So, in church, he attends St. Dominic's as well. So, something happened, I think it started from, no, it started from school. He punished me unjustly for something I did not do. So I'd been carrying that beef for him. And I knew he attends our church. I was in just one day. I was quite small. So one time, when something happened in church, I can't remember.
You can't do your own back for church. Inside church.
I was going to hit him.
Inside church, Victor.
Yes. I was going to hit him. And then
inside church.
At any rate, if they didn't hold me back, not like as in I was already doing it, but then they held me back there. Of course, in school, the following Monday,
he can't clear you.
Bro, I was punished and all his mates.
They rush you.
But then, now what I'm saying is, what worked?
Sorry, Narians.
What worked for me? It was basically church. I don't know, because church and then attending mass and then listening to what the priest would preach.
That was how it helped. That was what helped you.
Yes, that was what shaped my life basically. That's what shaped my life. And then family upbringing. My parents are not violent, so I can't say I learned it from home.
Sometimes people they learn all these things from street, then they learn them from outside.
You get. So for me, I have friends. To God be the glory. My friends are good guys. They are not violent people. So I mean, all these things, the friends I have, my family, and then church. All these things were able to shape me. So that's what worked for me. I can't really bring out specifics, but I feel that's what worked for me.
Yeah, and also for the older ones, I think it's when you get older, it's just a matter of having sense. You get where you go try show your power reach, where you're supposed to know, say, guy, I'm bigger than this. You get, because being a man is a journey of self-introspection, continually making sure that you're on the right track so that you don't fall by the wayside. All right, so bro, you think say violence they fit stop am for this world at all? Do you think we can ever get to a point where violence will be stopped? And if it can, do you think men can play a big role in it?
Well, I can say men they can curb the amount of violence that we experience in the world.
It can be stopped, but it can be curbed.
Stopping it, I know people will say there's nothing like impossible. But to me,
realistically,
let's be realistic. There are different things can, spring up. Just one reaction, and that reaction
leads to another one.
Just like you said before, you step on me,
I mash you back.
I jam you. So why you step on me?
Yeah.
Do you understand? You react. Sorry, now no verse. Do you understand? Little things can just spring up, that part of somebody. Like you said, I tend to disagree with what you said. I don't have any violence in me. I don't have any violence in me.
When the time comes,
there's usually tendencies.
Bro, you are a Nigerian now. Okay. Let's look at it like this. As a Nigerian, you have a level of madness in you. Yes or yes? You can't say no.
I'll say it's street code. I won't say it's I'll say it's street code.
That's just home training and spirit of God.
Literally.
That's it.
You said before, there's a point in there's where you get where you go reach for your life. You understand? You start to think, this thing I'm doing, how is it helping me? How is it benefiting me? Is it having any positive impact in my life and stuff like that? If it isn't, then
kick it to the curb.
You don't go with tendencies like violence. It's not something that anybody should
be proud of. Actually,
you see people collecting money to the end. You don't do things like that. It's all going to just mess up yourself. It's going to mess you up. Yes.
Really. Another thing too is the fact that you are creating a chain. You are creating a chain of more violence, because if you think, there's the popular saying here in Nigeria is, where your craze stop, now there another person they start from. So if you think you are crazy enough and then you want to take it this far, you are setting the tone for somebody to pick up from there and then move to another place where they're not supposed to go. So the general idea is the fact that, look, everybody, okay, let me not use Uche's term because you don't have to claim that you don't have violence. The general idea here is the fact that violence is a tendency that is, that is just there. People can pick it up, people can also drop it, but it's also important that as much as possible we learn to look into ourselves and then curb it as much so that we don't keep setting up a cycle. All right, thank you so much. I'm grateful you guys came and you did this with me. Man, no worry, we'll go still run another one later.
Thank you for the shirt.
Yeah, man, it looks good on you.
So you're winning again.
Win you another one. Kai.
I'm sorry I brought it. Should I have?
No. I mean, it's literally in his face, so there's no how you wouldn't have gotten it.
Okay.
All right, so that's been our show for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. And I hope that our discussion, has helped you put some things into perspective as regards violence. And until we come your way with another beautiful episode of The Boy Network, my name is Chima. Stay jiggy. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Dominican Media Presents. And you can follow The Boy Network on Twitter at The Boy Network _, The Boy Network _, where you can get more information on the show. Follow me on my socials as well at Chimampam _. Very easy to pronounce, I'm sure. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bro, Naduga, thank you so much. Grateful.
All right, man.